Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Zodiac Psycho podcast for another deep dive,
Ooh.
So today we're going to get into something that's a little bit different. We're going to talk about Ceres.
Yes.
And before we get started, make sure you check out the awesome offers down in the description below.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're out there thinking Ceres, who?
All right.
Exactly. This is something that's really interesting to me because it really has a lot to say about how we nurture ourselves and how we nurture other people.
Absolutely.
And
it's a really crucial part of understanding our own kind of personal psychology.
Yeah, and it's like having this cosmic instruction manual for self-care.
Yes.
But instead of having these boring bullet points, we've got zodiac signs and planetary aspects and all that good stuff.
Exactly. And it brings a little bit more depth, I think, to it as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about, what are the, 10 steps to self-care. It's about understanding the deeper psychological and energetic patterns that are at play.
Yeah.
And that's where Ceres comes in.
Yeah, so, first off, let's just break it down. Like, what is Ceres in astrological terms?
Yeah, so.
Is it a planet? Is it a star? Is it like a cosmic potato?
Well, it's not a potato.
Okay.
Although I do love a good spud.
Sure.
Ceres is actually classified as an asteroid.
Okay.
And it's the largest one in the asteroid belt, which is between Mars and Jupiter.
Gotcha.
And in astrology, it symbolizes that fundamental nurturing principle.
So like a cosmic mama bear, but in asteroid form.
Exactly. Yeah. And, we all have different ways of expressing that nurturing energy, right? Like some of us are much more, tough love, and some of us are like, showering people with gifts and affection.
Yeah.
And so Ceres can help us to understand those nuances in ourselves and in others.
For sure. Now, you mentioned something earlier about how Ceres is also really connected to our childhood experiences.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So, Ceres' placement in your birth chart often reflects the kind of nurturing you received as a child, particularly from your primary caregivers.
Okay.
And so these early experiences can leave a really lasting imprint on how we perceive and express care.
Makes sense.
Throughout our lives.
Yeah, so let's say someone had a difficult childhood.
Yes.
Maybe they didn't have the most nurturing caregivers.
Right.
Would that show up in their Ceres placement?
Yeah, absolutely. Difficult aspects to Ceres in a birth chart can sometimes indicate early experiences of emotional neglect or even trauma.
Oh, wow.
And this can really impact how someone approaches self-care and nurturing later in life.
Yeah.
They may struggle to nurture themselves or even feel worthy of receiving care.
That makes total sense. It's like you can't pour from an empty cup. Right.
Exactly.
We have to fill your own cup first.
Yes.
Before you can really give to other people.
That's a great analogy. And it really highlights the importance of understanding our own Ceres placement, right?
Yeah.
It's about recognizing our individual needs and finding ways to nurture ourselves so we can show up for others in a healthy and sustainable way.
For sure. And, we've talked about Ceres is about nurturing.
Yes.
But does the expression of that nurturing change?
Yeah.
Depending on the sign that it's in our birth chart.
Absolutely. The zodiac sign that Ceres occupies colors its expression.
Okay.
Creating a unique nurturing style for each individual.
I like that.
So yeah, it's like Ceres is the main ingredient.
Yeah.
But then each sign adds its own little flavor to the mix.
Okay, so like what's the difference between, say, Ceres in Taurus versus Ceres in Cancer?
Great question. So Taurus is an earth sign. And it's known for its practicality, stability, and a love of all things sensual and pleasurable.
Okay.
So someone with Ceres in Taurus might express their nurturing through acts of service, like creating a really cozy and comfortable environment for themselves and their loved ones. They might be the type to whip up a delicious meal or give a relaxing massage.
Right.
Or offer a helping hand with practical tasks.
So they're like the ultimate providers of comfort.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's about those tangible expressions of care that provide a sense of security and grounding.
What about Ceres in Cancer?
So Cancer is a water sign. It's known for its emotional depth, empathy, and intuition.
Okay.
So someone with Ceres in Cancer might nurture through deep listening, heartfelt words of encouragement, and unwavering emotional support.
Wow.
They intuitively sense the needs of others and provide comfort in a way that feels deeply personal and understanding.
So they're like creating that safe space for emotional expression.
Exactly.
Love that.
Yeah, their nurturing style is all about fostering emotional connection.
Okay.
And providing a sense of belonging.
That's beautiful. So we have like the practical grounding energy of Ceres and Chorus.
Yes.
And then the emotional, intuitive energy of Ceres and Cancer.
Exactly.
So I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, and these are just 2 examples, right?
Yeah.
We have, Ceres can be in any of the 12 signs.
Right.
And so it's really fascinating to look at how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really interesting. I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface here.
We did.
But we are going to have to wrap it up for now.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue this conversation.
Absolutely.
In the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, just a quick reminder.
Yes.
To check out those awesome offers.
Please do.
Down in the description below. You're not going to want to miss those.
Lots of good stuff down there.
Yeah. So until next time, happy nurturing, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we left off talking about Ceres retrograde.
We did. Yes.
And, before we jump into that, I just want to clarify, what retrograde means in astrology.
Yeah, because when I think of retrograde, I just think of like a planet like spinning backwards or something like that.
Right. It's not quite that dramatic.
Okay, good.
But essentially, retrograde means that from our perspective here on Earth, a planet appears to be moving backwards.
Okay.
In its orbit.
It's not actually moving backwards.
Right. It's not actually moving backwards. It's just an optical illusion.
Okay. So it's kind of like when you're passing a slower car on the highway.
Exactly.
And it looks like they're going backwards for a second.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Okay. But, even though it is an illusion, retrogrades in astrology are known for stirring things up.
Yes, they do.
So what happens when Ceres goes retrograde?
Well, things can get a bit introspective, to say the least.
Okay.
It's like Ceres is hitting the pause button on our usual nurturing routines and saying, hold up, let's take a closer look at how you're giving and receiving care.
Oh, so it's like a cosmic therapy session, but without the comfy couch and the herbal tea?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
And this can bring up some unresolved stuff from childhood, especially around those early experiences with caregivers.
Okay, so those wounds start to resurface a little bit?
Yeah. Exactly. Whether those are wounds around giving care or receiving care, those can come up during Ceres retrograde, demanding our attention.
So we should be paying attention to that during those times.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a time to really reassess our self-care habits, examine our boundaries, and really ask ourselves, are we giving too much or are we not allowing ourselves to receive enough?
Yeah, it's kind of like that saying, you have to put your own oxygen mask on first.
Exactly.
Before assisting others.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, have you noticed any patterns in your life? Especially during those retrograde periods.
Yeah.
That might relate to your Ceres placement.
Right. I mean, that's a really great question for listeners to consider.
Right.
Is there anything that comes up for you during those times?
Yeah.
That might be connected to your own nurturing style or how you were nurtured.
Absolutely. So now I want to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about how Ceres can influence career choices.
Yeah, let's do it. This is where things get really fascinating, I think.
Yeah, because who doesn't love a little cosmic career advice?
Right.
So if you have a strong Ceres placement in your birth chart, you might find yourself really drawn to professions that involve caring for teaching or healing others.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're talking like nurses, teachers, therapists.
Yeah, those are great examples.
Okay.
Social workers, people who are on the front lines of caring for others.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't have to be, just those traditional caregiving roles.
Right.
For instance, if Ceres is conjunct Neptune in your chart, which is an aspect that blends nurturing with creativity and compassion,
right,
you might be drawn to more artistic fields like art therapy or music therapy.
Wow.
Where you're nurturing the soul through creative expression.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's like Ceres is this cosmic career counselor.
It really is.
Guiding us towards professions where we can use our nurturing gifts
right,
to make a positive impact.
Exactly.
So if you find yourself really gravitating towards those types of careers, maybe Ceres has something to do with it.
It very well could.
Right. And the way that Ceres influences our career choices would also depend on the sign.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
So for example, someone with Ceres trine Venus, which is a harmonious aspect that combines nurturing with beauty and harmony.
Okay.
They might express their care through creative fields like design, fashion, or even culinary arts.
Interesting.
Bringing that sense of nurturing and well-being to their work through aesthetics and sensory experiences.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So like those foodie Instagrammers, they're just channeling their Ceres trine Venus.
Maybe they are.
I love that.
But it's fascinating how Ceres can weave its nurturing magic
Yeah.
into so many different aspects of our lives, from personal relationships to our professional paths.
Yeah, it's like this golden thread connecting our hearts
Right.
to the very essence of care and compassion.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, and understanding this asteroid's energy can really offer us profound insights into how we approach self-care, nurture relationships, and find fulfillment in the work we do.
I agree.
It's like we have this hidden superpower we can tap into to
Yeah.
create a more loving and supportive world,
For sure.
both for ourselves and for others.
I love that. Yeah, it really is fascinating, how much we can learn
It is.
about ourselves through astrology.
Yeah.
Even from an asteroid like Ceres.
Absolutely.
Like, who knew there was so much wisdom packed into this little celestial body?
That's amazing.
So, before we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Ceres,
Yes.
I know you have a final thought-provoking question
I do.
for our listeners.
Yes.
Something to really get those cosmic gears turning.
Okay, so my question is, what aspects of nurturing feel most natural or challenging for you?
Yeah.
So, just take a moment and think about that.
Okay.
Do you find it easier to give care or to receive care?
That is a good question.
Are there certain ways of nurturing that resonate more with you than others?
Yeah, I think that really makes you pause and think about how you approach nurturing
It does.
in your own life.
Yeah.
And for the people that you care about.
Exactly. And by exploring your own Ceres placement and how it interacts with the other planets in your birth chart,
Right.
you can really gain a much deeper understanding of these patterns and how they might be playing out in your life.
Yeah, it's like you're unlocking a secret code
It is.
to better understand yourself
Yes,
and your relationships.
absolutely.
Well, folks, that is a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of Ceres and astrology.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
I hope you found it insightful, inspiring,
Yes.
maybe even a little bit transformative.
Absolutely.
And don't forget to check out those awesome offers
Please do.
down in the description below.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff.
We've got links to resources, personalized readings, all that good stuff to help you continue your astrological journey. So until next time, keep shining bright, cosmic explorers.
Bye.